righty. Good afternoon, my fellow Rotarians. I am so excited to be here today. Woo-woo. And with that said, we need to do the pledge. And let's see, I'm looking around the room. Brian Mayall, will you please lead us in the pledge? Oh. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Brian, very, very much. Our songsters.
Great.
Oh,
Okay, is that us?
that is you.
Then it's your section card.
Oh, thank you. Oh, well, then I won't need my glasses. Oh, my head's always in that.
Well, we know that in Rotary, we can't do anything without a little help from our friends.
Yes,
You guys.
that'd be you.
1, 2, 3, 4. What would you think if I sang us a tune? Would you stand up and walk out with me? When we are reason, I'll sing you a song and I'll try not to sing out of key. Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends. Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends. Oh, I'm gonna try with a little help from my friends. What do I do when my love is away? Just in worry, be alone. How do I feel by the end of the day? Are you sad because you're on your own? No, I get by with help from my friends. Oh, I get by with help from my friends. Oh, I'm gonna try with help from my friends. You need somebody to love. Would it be? I want somebody to love. Would you be with love at your side? Yes, I'm certain that it happens all night. What do you see when you turn out the light? I can't tell you, but I know it's fine. Oh, I get by with the help from my friends. Oh, I get by with the help from my friends. Oh, I get by with the help from my friends. Yes, I get by with the help from my friends. I just need someone to love. Could it be? I want somebody to love. Oh, I get by with help from my friends. Oh, you gotta try to get help from my friends. Oh, I get by with help from my friends. Yes, I get by with little help from my friends. Little help from my friends. We just didn't want that song to end.
Well, we just made that our own, didn't we? All right. And if we could have Mr. Splend up here with Thought for the Day.
Hi, everybody. I grew up in an area where I was actually the only male, Caucasian male in my grade in elementary school. The rest of them were all Mexican. And it wasn't back then. We didn't really know the word Hispanic because all the people I grew up with were from Mexico, or at least their families were from Mexico. So I thought, in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month, which started last Friday, and I would talk a little bit about very important Mexican who was actually part of the namesake of my high school. So I'm going to talk about Emiliano Zapata. And his role in the Mexican Revolution was to command an army to fight in the south of the country. From his native state of Morelos, he took various cities and towns like Cuernavaca and helped Madero's army overthrow Porfirio Diaz. He later took a stance against the government as he felt the promises of land reform and wealth distribution were not fulfilled. So why is he a hero? And at my high school, we were called Zapata's Raiders. That's what was our part of our nickname. Although I've understand they've dropped the Zapata part. We're now just the Raiders. And I remember building as a freshman stuff that went on our gym that said that. He's considered a hero of the Mexican Revolution because he fought for social justice and the rights of the lower classes. Land reform and equitable wealth distribution was his greatest struggles, for which many people followed him faithfully. His army contributed to the efforts to overthrow Diaz and resisted the attacks of the following government. So probably his most famous quote, I'm sure you've heard this before, is it's better to die on your feet than to live a lifetime on your knees.
Thank you, Splin. Very inspirational. Okay. Up next, Alan Burnham. You're going to enlighten us with some color changes here for our members.
I was going to come up here, but I got to raise it a bit. Anyway, so one of the important parts of becoming a Rotarian is to understand how Rotary works. And one of our new members was saying, you know, there's some Rotarians who spend an awful lot of time keeping their club going. And part of becoming a new Rotarian is to go through this checklist, as you all know, and it's got all these things. You find out all the people who are doing all these things to make Rotary work. Anyway, Christine and Carol have completed their checklists, and they have now become Blue Badgers. And so I'm anyways, so I'm here to trade. And anyway, so yeah, so thank you, Christine and Carol, for oh yeah, well, it's the $10 fee. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Anyway, so we have a number of others, I think, who are getting close, and we encourage you to just bite the bullet and get that stuff done, because we want to be Blue Badgers. Because the other thing that's important is bringing a lot of new Red Badgers, and if you have too many people not getting their Blue Badgers, you get too many Red Badgers. We need both Red Badgers, and we need Red Badgers turning into Blue Badgers. Anyways. Now? No.
Thank you so much, Alan, and ladies, thank you for joining the Girls and Boys of Blue. Okay, next. All righty. So up front, wait a minute, let me get adjusted here. All righty. So our front line today, we have Tim Berry being our Spur reporter. Thank you, Tim. Woo-hoo! Yes. Dawn Wentz, you're our publisher. Kathy Coyle is always our web mistress. Dawn Wentz, you are our photographer as well as Spur publisher. Thank you for taking on that. Audio visual, Dennis, you give audio visual a whole new meaning. I love all your pictures. Thank you so much. Jeff Youngsma, you are doing double duty back there. I love it. I'm impressed. Zoom host and chat monitor. So we'll just pretend you're not here. Is that how we do this? I'm not quite sure. Oh, there they are. And then our sergeant at arms We've got, oh, just Trex today. Trex, can Trex have the microphone really quick? Just a quick little. Yeah.
Hello, Madam President. Yes, I wanted to make one quick announcement. Bob is not here. Last week, we did acquire a recycle bin for your water bottles and any other recycling instead of just throwing it into the trash. So raffle tickets we're selling when you guys first come in. I don't go around selling them during the meeting. So it's kind of like buy them as you come in, and then we do the raffle number at the end.
Perfect. And what's our total at this time,
Our
sir?
Total is over $900 now.
All righty.
Thank you.
Thank you. There's a lucky winner in this room. Okay, let's introduce. Oh. Oh, wait a minute. I am not done. I didn't get to the bottom. And our greeter today, J.R. Romero. Woo! Let's give a hand to all of our front line. You all make this engine roll. Thank you so very, very much. Okay, so let's start with visiting Rotarians and guests out in Zoom land. Okay, perfect. Okay, then let's start with visiting Rotarians among us here. Do we have anyone? No? Okay, how about guests of Rotarians? I see a couple. Go right ahead there, Don.
Madam President, I'd like to introduce Jim Folta.
Oops, stand up, Mr. Jim.
Stand up.
We got to
Mr.
get your
Folta.
pretty face.
So Jim is an old friend and a prospective member, a longtime resident of Livermore. He's a graduate of the University of Illinois, and when he came here, he was recruited by Alan Burnham. So he's been here a while. Yeah. So we hope he enjoys this meeting.
Fantastic. Thank you for coming. Okay, any other guests? Oh, Ron, you brought somebody with you, Mr. Koopman. Who did you bring with you today? Oh, there we go.
I brought my caregiver, Cecilia.
Well, nice to see you, Syria. Thank you for joining us. Okay, I think we got everybody covered. Okay, so we're going to go to some announcements. Couple things on your tables. I happen to read, believe it or not, I read not just the pictures, the Rotary magazine. And I copied this out of the magazine, Our Limitless Potential. And I thought, this is a nice reminder of why we're Rotarians and why we do what we do. And I have a copy of this at work and home. And so this kind of something to kind of keep you in line. But I think also, too, this is what makes me proud to be a Rotarian. So if you'd like to keep this copy and maybe peruse it, the object of Rotary, the four-way test, and the code of conduct that you all established and that we all follow. Every once in a while, I think in life in general, this is a great little piece of paper to have because it reminds us of the quality of person that we truly are and that we truly need to be at all times. So just wanted to share that with you. Let's see here. Okay, we're going to, you know what? Dennis, you have a little something to share with us. Can Dennis have the microphone or he can come up here? I guess this is close.
Hello, Rotarians. I really thought I'd like to give a big thank you to a few people that have been working in RAVE. Now, the picture you see on top is a panel of hiring managers who are tutoring veteran students at Las Positas College on how to go through resumes and get prepared for interviews and going through an interview process. We've been doing this for a number of years. You see Gordon Jones up there and Tim Berry, and we've got Deb Tacker and Beth McCormick from the Morning Club. And I want to give them a big thank you. That was actually a wonderful event. We had a second event just this past Saturday, the Veteran Stand Down at the fairgrounds in Pleasanton. Jeff Youngsma, Joel Swanson, Loretta Kowski, Paul Smid, and I joined the two clubs from Pleasanton and prepared meals for these homeless veterans. They got a lot of services. It was a shorter event than what we've had with the East Bay Stand Down, but it was much appreciated. And I want to give them a big thanks as well.
Thank you, Dennis. I used to attend those years ago, and I know how very, very important those are to our veterans. Okay, well, just as a little friendly reminder, and Splend, I just want to show you, wait a minute. I have my ringer off, just, you know, so you might want to save that phone call. Your fellow Rotarians taught me. I'm sure he'll find a way to make my phone ring anyway. But anyway, couple things. I have, I think, Dennis, I understand you've been kind of roaming the streets. Oh, wait a minute. We have someone that actually, I forgot about this. A fellow Rotarian not only went on a nice little trip to Tahoe, but she worked very hard at finding a beautiful spot in some beautiful park. And I thought we cannot not notice Kimberly Grudel for that very kind introduction of what they do in Tahoe. Can Kimberly have a mic? Kimberly, that was very, very gracious of you to go and pay tribute to that.
Yeah, I was very grateful to find that. Let me tell you, after my walk. Yeah, we were in Tahoe celebrating my husband's birthday and went on a walk. This is over by Pope's Beach, if anyone's familiar with that. We saw bears, we saw coyote, we saw chipmunks. And by the end, I told my husband, I said, I've had enough nature for one day. So yeah, I was happy to find that. And lo and behold, the bench was donated by the local Rotarians.
Wow.
So in honor of them and of President Sheila, I would like to join the President's Club.
Thank you so much. Well, and I started going after another fellow Rotarian that I understand has been roaming the roads, and that's Dennis. I understand you've been out and about.
Well, when I saw this view graph and I saw Kimberly was at South Lake Tahoe and is paying a fine, I have a confession to make. Adele and I went to South Lake Tahoe and we saw bears out our window in a restaurant and we actually made money. So,
ooh,
yeah, I'll probably need a fine as well.
And what was all that wonderful nature worth?
I think I'll donate oranges to the veteran stand down.
Fantastic.
That's what I thought.
Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you. All right. Couple little announcements. Let's see here. Oh, wait a minute. We have a oh, perfect. Oh, I thought you had a brag. Oh, you no? Okay, sorry. All right. Tim Berry, you had a quick little announcement.
Thank you so much, President Sheila. The Livermore Amador Symphony Association has two events coming up that you'll want to come to. They're fundraising events. The Sipping with the Symphony is at Page Mill Winery on Thursday, September 28th from 5 to 7 p.m. Wine tasting and fabulous music by some people that I know very well. Also, the Pops on the Green is Saturday, September 30th, right in front of the Bankhead Theater at 3 o'clock. So our symphony plays Pops music, the high school jazz band plays, and we pass around a can for contributions, but it's a free concert. So you're invited to come.
Awesome.
Saturday, September 30th at 3 p.m. in front of the Bankhead Theater on the Green there. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Sonia, you got a little quick announcement for us?
I would just like to remind everybody that next Wednesday, September 27th, is our second Wine Down Wednesday at Garay Vineyards. I encourage everybody to attend. Red Badgers get free wine. There'll be drinks and beverages, and it's fun. I know a lot of you came last time, so I encourage you to come again. And Garay is donating their facilities to us, so please come. It's Garay Vineyards at 5 o'clock, Tesla Road, next Wednesday, the 27th.
And
Thank
what's
you.
so gracious is Garay is donating the use of the facility, which is wonderful. And they're very accommodating to us late partiers. So, you know, they've been very gracious. Okay. All right, let's move along. And next week, Alan Frank is going to share with us a little bit about the Heritage Guild. And 50 years, that's amazing. So I'm really looking forward to that talk. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's get started with our assembly. So first of all, what I wanted to do is just kind of keep this light, quick, just cover a few things. I'm going to throw out some ideas, get some information from some of our committees, just bring us up to snuff what we've been doing. So what I wanted to start with, first of all, Dennis put up this great slide. It kind of shows you who's doing what and who's taking care of what, and everyone is doing a phenomenal job. So I want to thank each and every one of you that are on the board for taking the time and putting in the work to help make our club run. Every single one of you make a difference, and I just want to be sure to say thank you. I probably don't say it enough, but it's a volunteer position, and it takes time, as I'm learning, lots of time. So I appreciate all your hard work and time. So anyway, yeah, a little thank you. Okay, so I'm just going to hit a couple high points, and I wanted to have a couple committees just do kind of a little quick update as to what's going on and where we are, and this will kind of lead into some of the stuff that I'm going to talk about. Norm, can you just give us a little snippet of what we're doing in the dollars and cents world? We need a mic.
You're making me
We
work
need
today.
roller skates for you.
I'll be real brief. I know you're happy about that. We're in fine financial shape. We've got over 80,000 in UBB and over 15 in Chase. So at this point, we're in good shape. We will be in good shape all year. I need some help. I just wanted to fill you in talking financially. I've got 6 Rotarians I'm trying to get in contact with, and I've tried to email them and phone them, that I have not had a response about the invoice. So if some of you would like to help me out and make some calls to people you know, because I'm not getting a response. And obviously, if this continues, I'm going to have to make a recommendation to the board. And some of you may have some real insight that I don't have. That $750. It's not the invoice is $750.
But it could be 350.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
They can break them up, or if something needs to be done special, I can accommodate.
Perfect.
That's it.
Thank you so much, Norm. I appreciate that. Okay, great. Okay, community service. And I think, Mark, you're going to give us a little update, if you don't mind.
On essentially not community service, but the
I'm
President's
sorry,
Project.
President's Project.
You knew what you.
I knew what I
talked
meant.
about. Anyway, President Sheila has chosen the renovation and creation of the community room inside the restored train station as her President's Project. And Alan Frank, not the other Alan, who's right there. It's very confusing. You sit very close together and got confused last week. And Loretta and I met with city officials on site, took a look at the building. The fantastic part is it plays to several of our strengths. The first piece is there will be pieces of the project which are Rotary volunteer perfect. So for those who want to be slightly handy, we've got some, fairly straightforward using a saw and sawing and putting up some things, some nailings. So people who want to be slightly less handy, we've got some painting after some texturing goes in. And so we've got some jobs that we can really do some hands-on stuff, because we've heard back that some of you want to do something physical. The other thing it does is it needs money. And we are good at that, raising money. Some of the tasks are beyond what I would put, our average aged Rotarian up on a ladder doing, like HVAC, plumbing, and some other tasks. So because we want all of those systems to actually work when we're done, and we don't want to kill any Rotarians or maim them, we're going to essentially pay to have those done. So that's actually the easy part. Weirdly, the complicated part is we're working with the city on here, and this is an unusual situation. Normally, the city would simply take control of the project and build it, and that's a very straightforward process. They know how to do that. We're going to be entering into a contract with them to hand that project off to us, which gets more complicated. And we've only done this a couple of times. So the good news is we've done it. So the downtown gazebo would fall into that category, and Hageman Ranch would fall into this a similar but different category for the Heritage Guild, who Rotary will be partnering with to accomplish this project. So I'm pretty certain that we will get there. I'm also pretty certain that we'll need quite a little bit of time out of our attorney's office, which means that we'll have plenty of time to fundraise. So more to follow on this one, because the engineers and the architects are off sort of looking at sort of what some of these things will cost and how we might accomplish those. So great news is we're moving right along, President Sheila, and we'll be back in a few weeks to tell you a little more.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mark. And I was going to say, Loretta wasn't able to join us today, but she's got other kind of things in the hopper as far as other little community stuff, activities that we do. So she'll be sharing that with us down the road some. Alan Burnham, can you give us a little snapshot? I know we kind of talked a little bit, but kind of fill us in on membership.
So the membership committee has started to review a lot of our paperwork, and we've made some recommendations to streamline some of that. And that's probably a detail that you probably don't want to know, but it does require work. As far as the membership, we brought in quite a few members at the end of last year, but then we had quite a few people who did not renew. So we ended up actually one less than we started with last year. We have picked up that member with Kathy Young, who I don't see here today, and we've got another prospective member in the pipeline, and maybe another one who will join. But the fact is that we're an old an old club. So I think actually the majority of us are over 70. But in any event, what we'd like to do is make sure that our club stays vibrant. So we need to recruit new members, hopefully recruit members who are under 70 as well as over 70.
We all were once.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so that's the challenge ahead. It'd be nice to have one a month to make sure that we are gaining faster than we're losing. So anyway, the task is for all of us. So let's get at it. Bye.
Thank you so much, Alan. That was perfect. Okay, vocational services, Jeff Youngsmud, you got a little something to share with us. Well, yes, I do.
Thank you, Madam President, our benevolent overlord. Let's see. We're still working on and when I say we, it's me and the couple voices in my head, are working on our vision, goals, and missions and our objectives for this fiscal year under our current leadership. Vocations will be continuing to work with all the other youth services that we have been met with Paul McCandless, and boy, he gave me quite a list. Let me see. As I become more familiar with what needs to go on, currently, vocations, we are working, we're trying to work hand in hand with the Valley Veterans Foundation and Las Positas College. We want to continue our outreach to them and our participation. And even more, this is something, it's pretty near and dear to my heart. So obviously I'm prejudiced and putting that one first and foremost. Some of the other things that we were doing, we are reaching out to other veterans groups, the educators, our youth in government, which is we've been able to establish already a tentative date. Thank you very much. We are going to still try to work on vocational scholarships, whether we can run that through the Rotarian Foundation or the Pedrosi Foundation or what it might be to help do that. And with that, like I said, our main focus right now is our youth and government and Valley Veterans Foundation. So thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jeff. Appreciate that. As far as youth services, I know, Jeff, you're kind of working with them. So that I know also, you're kind of working together to get that going for them as well. I didn't want to get this to be too long with too many little speeches. Okay, the next one up would be Goud, and Goud's going to give us a little bit of foundation and some international, kind of bring us up to snuff.
Well, greetings from the Rotary Foundation International. So I'll give a very quick update. As you know, we already set our goals for 23-24, the annual fund at 72,000 and Polio Plus 22,000 is slightly higher than what we achieved. But first, let me tell you, our club is blessed with many, many generous donors, and we really stand out in our district as one of the high contributing club. So there hasn't been any goal that we haven't beaten in the past. So I'm confident we can do the same. So I wanted to break it down a little bit more specifically. What are the goals? Our club has got a 74 Paul Harris Fellows, which includes Paul Harris Society members, major donors, and all of that. So we have 22 of them who are not, and that's a challenge. That's what we want to do, make them all Paul Harris Fellows this year. To help that, any donations over 100 is matched with a foundation recognition points that they can become Paul Harris Fellow in $500. So that's our challenge. Now, and also like to increase the Paul Harris Society members by 10, which says those who contribute 1,000 or more in this year become Paul Harris Society members. That's the difference. Then I want to increase major donors by 3 to 5 and increase Beckwith Society by 2 to 5. These are not just guesses. I'll be going around telling in their ears, those people, how much they need to contribute to go become one. So I just reviewed this morning the report. I'm very confident I can get close to most of them, if not all of them. Okay, so let's talk. Oh, I should have started. I have a committee members, Pat McMahon, Irv, and Glenn Kobiak, and Don Sweeney. And I'm going to split some of these goals among them. Don Sweeney and Glenn is going to help me with increasing Paul Harris Fellows. And Irv is going to work on increasing Paul Harris Society members. And Pat will help me with the last two. And I'll be working with all of them. Next slide. All right, more importantly, what I like to do, these are soft goals. I think it's very important every one of us have a login to myrotary.org. You will be surprised, over 40% don't have a login. So I'm going to be putting together a sheet on how you can do it easily. Just walk you through. And then we're going to have a 2023-24 pledge card. Electronically, you can send it back. I was distributing last year and I collected every one of them. Only ones I got was about 5 or 6. So I didn't want to waste money printing it. So I'm going to send it electronically and then I'm going to follow it up by the email. Now, I think we all kind of know, but we need to know a little bit in more detail why we donate to the Rotary Foundation and what it achieves. And I have a page right up. I'm going to distribute that. In essence, it transforms our donation to service projects locally and globally, and as a tremendous track record. So when you read through that, I think you will relate to that. And the next one is a foundation recognition point. If I just ask, how many of you know what that is? See, it's very simple. Let me explain you. And every dollar we donate to TRF, you earn one foundation recognition point, whether that's for an annual fund or for a Polio Plus. What does that mean? Those points are the ones used to recognize. Now, when I say we are matching, that means you're doubling your foundation recognition point. You get to the Paul Harris Fellow that much faster. It doesn't help you with a major donor. That's dollars. So you may become Paul Harris +8 and sit there for a while. Okay, so this is important information for all of us to know. Then I have the TRF recognition and Paul Harris Society brochure, and then most importantly, Rotary Action Plan brochure. So rather than taking everybody's time, I will be distributing this to every one of you, and we'll have a quiz. It will be, I'll just call out and a sheet and said, and those who are in the beginning, they have a simple question. Those who've been here for a long time, they have to answer the hard questions. Rewards. Rewards. Okay. So in closing, it's easy. A lot easier than we think. And so there are ways to do it online. You can write a check, give it to any one of the committee members, or a way to mail. But I tell you, the easiest thing is to do a recurring donation. Now, how easy it is, we got 10 months to go. If you do $100 a month, you get Paul Harris Society. You do $50 a month, you become Paul Harris Fellow. But if you already have some on the record, you would need less than that. I know every one of you how much you need to give to get where. Thank you. All right, now switch hats to the international services. Irv asked me to cover a few things. I'm working with him on a couple of on the international projects. And the critical thing that I want to tell you is that we have the Area 4 Global Grant Committee. And that committee went through in the last 4 or 5 weeks, revising memorandum of understanding and the criteria for selection of the projects. And one of the reasons why we had to go revise, I am on the task force to revise that, and is that there has been a very narrow view of where the global grant DDFs to go. So many clubs have objected. So there was a line that it said we would only use it for Americas. So that had a lot of negative implications. So we revised that, as well as some details on how you select the criteria to open it up. So then the board of directors will be given a copy of the MOU criteria that need to be approved so that we can go implement that. Now, in addition to this, there are 2 key things that we need to do. We do have 10,000 or so district grants, which translates to 10,000 times 1.25, that we can use local projects. And then we have same 10,800 global grant, which translate to 1.8 times, and we need to go do the allocation. Irv and I are working together to make a recommendation to the president, and then we would need to select it and announce to the club. And the other activities, I'm not familiar. If any of the International Services Committee member, feel free to share that. But this is what I know about the international. Thank you.
Thank you, Gao. Did anybody have questions for any of the individuals that spoke so far? Any questions? No? Okay. All right. So Couple things I wanted to discuss today. Number one, lunch location. I know that a while back we made or our group made the comment that they'd like to have a home, and food served and, kind of nice tablecloths, etc. And with that comes obviously a cost. And we've been trying different places. We went to, let's see, Beebs. We went to Las Positas Winery. We went over to Darcy Kent. Well, Darcy, I don't know if Darcy Kent was that. That was just a program. But anyway, we tried a couple places and some had really good reviews, but bad sound, others not so good. But what we're trying to do is find a place that all of you would like to attend and have our meeting at. But obviously with moving to another location and bringing food into the fold, that increases the amount of money that we spend individually and as a club. So we have a couple more places. I understand JR is going to go over to the hotel today and see if that's even an option, if they're even ready. Our old stomping grounds, where they are. I know they were supposed to be open last June and they haven't. So JR is going to check into that. I know Sonia has reached out to Garay. They have Del Val Winery, and that's another one that's coming down the pike. And then as well, Mike Thompson is very interested in us trying the club, formerly the tennis club, for a possible locations. And I'm open to all this, but again, at the end of the day, we need to kind of start thinking about where we want to go and what we would like to do. I would like for us to have a decision by by December, by the end of the year. And then also there's this location. We have been, our facility fee kind of, when we added the $5, well, you've been enjoying your $5 every week. So that money is not just sitting somewhere. You're having sandwiches, and this also too could be another option. So I'm very open to anything we would like, but I would really like to get some input from all of you. At the end of the day, what is important? Maybe we've changed that thought. Maybe, the location isn't so important and big fancy meals aren't. So anyway, I would like to just kind of throw that out there. I also too realize that logistics, meaning where the facility, where the location is another thing too. So again, with all those pieces in play, hopefully by December we can come up with a solution. I will be coming back to you on this after we visit those last few places for a decision. Okay, next thing is membership. Alan made the comment that we need to get maybe newer members in one aspect or another. And I know, and I know that can be a challenge because it is difficult for some that actually have joined our club. And then they found that between work, family schedules, it was too difficult for them to continue to be a member. And that just wasn't going to work out for them. So I've got some ideas I wanted to run past all of you to think about. So what about the possibility of maybe once a month having an evening meeting? Maybe it's something we could do at one of the wineries. We could start the meeting. Obviously, we can have speakers, have our normal, intro to Rotary and have a speaker, or have our normal intro and then have a 30-minute or whatever club social. This is something that I wanted to throw out because a lot of those new members, and probably some of us as well, noontime isn't always a great opportunity for us, or it's possible. So wanted to throw that out. The other thing was membership dues. Maybe a thought we could look at for someone that's maybe 40 and under, I guess. A lot of people are getting married later. They have small kids. Their budget isn't as big and they're not as well as established. So maybe, for the first couple years, if you join and you're under a certain age, you have a modified membership due. And then after whatever, a year or two, then it goes back up to the same as all of us. But an incentive, I guess what I'm looking at are incentives. So again, these are just ideas I want to kind of throw out there. I'd love feedback on that. And let's see. Another thing I wanted to talk about was the President's Club. Now, there's some of you that remember when that all got started way back when. In my memory, I just remember that it used to be, because you presidents of past days were very methodical about finding everybody. And it was a lot of fun being on the outside looking in. And I thought at one point, there was a combination of things. Our foundations weren't so well set up as far as their funds. They didn't have a lot of money way back then. And then also we were kind of hitting people up for 20 here, 50 there. And I think we put together this President's Club to kind of cover those three things a little bit for the club. Once you join the President's Club, you were supposed to not get picked on again, but that kind of went away really quick. We ignored that. So what my thought was, now let's fast forward. The purses for the foundation and is a little better than it used to be. Not saying that we still don't need to give to them, because the foundation does amazing work. And we should never forget about, the Rotary Foundation, TRF, they all do the things that are in that little piece of paper that I passed around, what makes us who we are. But I'm wondering if we could reclassify the President's Club to where it would go to the club to help us, because we're short. And I think Norm could speak on this behalf, but some of the things like music scholarships, we're only able to give them what, $2,500? And Beth Wilson told me she needs $10,000 to do what she needs to do. That's quite a big difference. And granted, she needs, to go out and do fundraising, but that's a big difference. And also operating costs. And then maybe with the different levels, maybe there's a gold, silver, or bronze, silver, gold. There's recognition for that. And those monies would go to the club. Not saying that you can't donate directly. Your donation goes to, the foundation or a restricted fund for, different projects. But I just wanted to throw that out there as another idea of some way to kind of help our club cover its costs and support the different projects that we all love, mini grants, the literacy program, music scholarship. We have all these and we do fundraisers, but the money can only go so far. It costs a lot of money to do things. So that was another idea that I had. So with that said, I kind of wanted to open up. We've got about 11 minutes and see if there's any questions or things you would be interested in seeing here at the club. Anything? Yes, Mike.
Do I need a mic?
Mike needs a
Folks
mic.
on Zoom can't hear you. Oh, I see. I had a judge tell me once that I had to use a microphone and then she took it away from me.
Oh.
I just wanted to say that I like that idea about having an evening meeting once a week or a month, excuse me, once a month. That would be a lot of fun.
Okay, I like that idea. How do you all feel about that, to look into that? Maybe do a pilot? All right, so let's, you know what, I'll work with Sonia. We're going to come up with a way to pull that off. I think that would be a lot of fun. And then talk to Mark. Maybe we have other speakers in the hopper. That would be, go ahead, Norm.
I just want to do a proviso to what you said about the President's Club.
Oh,
closer?
There you
Okay.
go. Yes.
I thought I'm as loud as Mike. What do I know? The proviso in this concept is that this would give the president a way to have a signature project in their year. So we need to have it framed in the big picture. Yes, we do need whatever we can get because we've got budgeted more than we charge, believe it or not. Now I can show you the breakdowns, but the real push behind that is so the president can really make their mark that year, at least in my head.
Thank you, Norm. I appreciate that. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and organize that so they'll, maybe the last Wednesday of the month. We've got the next two already, Sonia. Don't we have the next two kind of?
Ray has offered to let us use their winery for whatever we need. So if we want to have a meeting there, we could have a meeting there the last Wednesday every month ad nauseum. So that's open to us. We have to decide whether we like it or not. And that is an incentive to come next Wednesday to our wine soda. So you can see the facility and see where we would be meeting and what they have to offer.
Yeah, so let's do it. Yeah, October. Let's do it in October because obviously next week is a little too short notice. Oh yeah, great. So yeah, please, you guys come next week. Check the location out. They're beautiful. Plenty of parking. It's easy to get to. Anything else? Any comments, concerns? Yes.
So I like the idea of, I don't know, with people under 35 or under 40, even if it's at a discount, something under the 750. But I also think it's really important to give them the ability to pay monthly, because I think when you look at younger families' budgets, if you tell them 750 or 600 or some other number, that might be a bit much to chew off. But if it's monthly and you break it down, $600 would be $50 a month. I think that's a more manageable. I mean, it's a little more hassle for the treasurer's office, but it does give them a better opportunity. I think it's easier to swallow.
You know what, Splenda, I really agree with you because young people, they live on a budget, a very tight budget, especially if they got children in the house and, there's diapers, Rotary diapers, I get it. Nobody's going to comment on that. Oh, wait. Oh, Lord. Okay. Moving right along. I got that now, Mark. I'm just a little slow. Composure. Okay. With that said, on a personal note, we are, as a club, I think the momentum and the camaraderie and the fellowship, I hope that this has kind of come to a point where you feel like you're really valued here. I'm been trying really hard to kind of bring back that flavor that I found when I first joined Rotary. And I know that COVID kind of took the wind out of our sails. So I hope you all feel that here, because I really do. I will make it my mission to continue to do that and make sure that I am showing appreciation and definitely support every single one of you in all your efforts to make the club the best it can be. So I have thoroughly enjoyed my presidency so far. I'm still learning. There's a lot to learn. I don't sleep much on the weekends, but I love being part of this Rotary Club. You all inspire me, each and every one of you. I'm hoping moving forward that we're able to kind of get some of these things ironed out as far as where we're going to be. That I think is really important. And I'm very open to suggestions. So anything I talked about today, if you have comments, suggestions, please email me. I am definitely interested in hearing what you all have to say. So anyway, that's kind of all I got. Anybody have anything else they'd like to share? Yes, Alan.
Well, first of all, I'll pay for making this announcement by donating $100 to the president's project here in the railroad depot.
Thank you.
But I wanted to call your attention to noon on Sunday, at the Bankhead Theater, the movie A Million Miles Away, the life story of Jose Hernandez is being presented there. And it's very important for everybody to understand who he was and what he worked through to achieve what he did. And it's free. And please, invite friends and things like that. You can see it at home on Amazon Prime. However, you won't have Jose Hernandez in your bedroom. So it's important to So anyway, please get the word out to all your friends, your acquaintances, and it's Dennis O'Brien worked closely with Jose at the lab, but there may have been others here. He is, he was born in French Camp, kind of close to Stockton, but he's a local person, and what he's achieved is remarkable.
Alan, thank you so very much. Oh, Brian.
Just another quick framing.
Yes, sir.
The dues or the invoice is pushed by lunch. We don't do lunch, just so you have a framing when you think about this. You don't have the bill, see, that you had this year. That was done on a budget basis to make sure we didn't really fall far short as we did when we were in that facility for years and paid. You were all paying for that. Always facility fees there were somewhere between $6 and $8 historically, which is what's in the budget now to make sure as we go out that we didn't come up short.
Thank you.
Food for thought.
Thank you. Important. Thank you. Yes, Brian.
This club has had a reputation of being very responsive to international disasters. And you may remember after the Fukushima disaster in Japan, we were able to raise a couple, in fact, I think there's more than 2 shelter boxes. And shelter boxes, the affiliate of Rotary, that provides literally shelter in terms of disaster, and they're very quick on their thing. I would like to feel that this club again can respond to the disasters in Libya and Turkey and so on by at least sponsoring 1 shelter box, maybe more. The shelter boxes cost about $1,000 a piece. And you can make your donations directly online, and they ask you which club you belong to. So we as a club get kudos for anything we do in response to these disasters. So I just urge you to look at shelter box and think of it.
Thank you so much. You know what? Maybe next week you could bring that up. We could do a slide just so to educate people where those opportunities are. Okay. All righty. Trex, can you, we need to go right ahead.
Yeah, for the weekly raffle, the winning ticket number this week is 4605099.
5099. Is it?
Who's got it?
Me?
All right.